Jack had never been to a planet like this before. The moment he stepped off the shuttle, he felt the difference. The air smelled faintly sweet, like flowers mixed with the crispness of ozone. The sky shimmered with streaks of soft green and violet, and the ground glowed slightly underfoot, making each step seem almost magical. Jack was a large man, bulky in a way that made moving through tight spaces a challenge. Even on Earth, here on this alien world, it felt impossible. He had spent days traveling across the surface, hoping to find a place to rest. His body ached. His clothes were dusty from the strange terrain, and every creature he saw seemed faster, lighter, and more agile than him. Small hovering animals darted past, watching him curiously but avoiding him entirely. Jack waved at one, and it zipped away in a swirl of soft light, leaving him chuckling. He felt clumsy in comparison, but he also felt a spark of hope. Maybe someone here would help him. He wandered through the forest of glowing plants and floating rocks, scanning for signs of life. Most of the structures he saw were tiny, small pods suspended above the ground or tiny huts perched on rock outcroppings. Jack tried approaching a few of them, but the aliens inside barely glanced at him before turning away. He guessed that humans weren't exactly welcome guests. By the time he reached the edge of a clearing, he was starting to feel hopeless. His legs were stiff and his stomach rumbled with hunger. That was when he noticed a small, oddly shaped house nestled between two towering, glowing trees. Its walls shimmered softly in gold and blue, and the doorway was barely tall enough for him to fit. From outside, it looked impossible for someone of his size to enter, but it was the only hope he had. He approached cautiously, wondering if anyone lived there. The door slid open before he could knock, and a voice rang out, soft but confident. "It'll be a tight squeeze, but come in." Jack froze for a moment. The voice was melodic, almost musical, and it came from a figure standing just inside the doorway. The alien woman was slender, graceful, with long, shimmering hair that seemed to change color slightly as she moved. Her eyes were bright, filled with curiosity and intelligence, and she smiled warmly at him. Jack swallowed, suddenly aware of his bulk and the way he might fill up the entire doorway. Thank you," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. He stepped forward carefully, ducking under the doorway and bumping slightly against the frame. He winced, expecting her to frown, but instead she chuckled. "Don't worry," she said. "You'll manage, just mind the walls." Jack stepped inside. The interior was astonishing. Despite its small size, the house seemed to stretch in unexpected ways. There were shelves that curved and twisted, floors that slid to reveal hidden compartments, and furniture that reshaped itself depending on how it was used. He felt like he had stepped into a puzzle, and he wasn't sure he had the right pieces. The alien woman gestured toward a soft, flexible sofa that seemed to adjust itself for his size. "Sit. You must be tired," she said. Jack lowered himself onto it with a grunt, marveling at how the seat molded perfectly to his shape. "This is incredible," he admitted. "I have never seen anything like it." The woman laughed again, a sound that made Jack feel at ease. "This is Lyra," she said. "I've lived here for a long time. Space is tight, so you learn to make the most of every inch." "I'm Jack," he replied, smiling. I really need a place to rest. Everywhere else I've been, humans aren't exactly welcome." Lyra's expression softened. "Humans are unusual. You're big, strong, and not always graceful. But you have something else too, something I haven't seen often. Come, I'll show you how to move around here without breaking everything." Jack followed her as she guided him through the house. Each room was a marvel of clever design. There were shelves that floated in midair, a kitchen counter that extended and contracted, and a small bedroom tucked under a curved ceiling. Jack had to duck, twist, and sometimes slide sideways to fit through the halls. Every step made him realize just how different this world was, and how difficult it was for a human of his size to adapt. Lyra watched him with quiet amusement. "You're heavier than most guests," she said. "But you're learning quickly, that's admirable." Jack chuckled, brushing his hair back. "I guess humans are used to adapting. We survive by figuring things out, even if it's not easy." They spent the next hour exploring the house together. Jack discovered hidden compartments for storage, clever furniture that transformed to fit different needs, and even a small garden inside that glowed softly in the dim light. Lyra explained each feature with care, and Jack listened, fascinated. "This is amazing," he said finally. "I can't believe all of this fits into such a tiny space." It's not about space, Lyra replied. It's about thinking differently. Humans are big and strong, but here you must also be clever. You'll see once you settle, you'll find ways to make this space work for you. As Jack explored, he realized he wasn't just impressed with the house, he was impressed with Lyra herself. She moved with a grace and confidence he had rarely seen. She handled the compact spaces effortlessly, always knowing where to place her hands, how to shift her weight, and how to keep everything balanced. Jack felt both admiration and a little awe. After a while, they sat together in the living area. Lyra offered him a drink, a glowing liquid in a small cup that smelled like a mixture of honey and mint. Jack took a sip, savoring the strange but pleasant flavor. So, tell me about humans, Lyra said, leaning back. What makes you different? What makes you strong? Jack smiled, feeling a warmth from her curiosity rather than judgment. We're resilient, he said. We adapt, we work together, and we figure out problems even when it seems impossible. I think that's why I've survived so far, traveling alone on your planet. Lyra nodded thoughtfully. Resilient. Yes, I see that. And yet so bulky. She laughed softly. I suppose that presents its own challenges. Jack grinned. Yeah, it does. But I'm learning. Slowly. The hours passed quickly. They shared stories about their worlds, their experiences, and their hopes. Jack learned that Lyra was a skilled inventor and problem solver, someone who had spent years perfecting her home and life in a world that required constant ingenuity. Lyra learned about Earth, humans, and the unique strengths that Jack brought to situations, even when they were clumsy or awkward. By the time night fell, Jack felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Welcome. Despite his size, despite the challenges, despite being in a completely alien world, he felt at home in a way he hadn't expected. Lyra smiled at him, and he knew it wasn't just politeness, it was genuine acceptance. You'll do fine here, Lyra said. It's tight, yes, but I think you'll manage. More than that, I think you'll make this place livelier, Jack laughed. I'll try not to break everything. You won't, Lyra replied. You'll just adapt, like humans always do. As he settled down for his first night in the strange, compact home, Jack realized something. This wasn't just a place to stay. It was a place to learn, to grow, and to connect. And somehow he knew that the challenges of living in a tight space with someone like Lyra would be just the beginning of an adventure far greater than he had imagined. Outside, the world continued to shimmer in its strange alien glow. Inside, Jack felt warmth, safety, and a spark of excitement for what the next days would bring. And as he drifted into sleep, he felt certain of one thing. No matter how tight the space, no matter how unusual the world, humans had a way of thriving, even when it seemed impossible. Jack woke to the soft glow of Lyra's home, the light shifting gently as if the house itself were breathing. He stretched, feeling every muscle ache from yesterday's adventures, yet a small smile crept onto his face. He had survived his first night in the tiny, compact house, and surprisingly, it hadn't been as uncomfortable as he had feared. Lyra was already up, moving gracefully around the living area, adjusting sliding shelves and folding compartments. She noticed Jack stirring and smiled. Good morning, Jack. Sleep well? Surprisingly well, he admitted. I thought it would be harder to rest here, but this bed, it's amazing. Somehow it molds perfectly, Lyra chuckled. Everything here adapts to the inhabitant. That includes the bed, the furniture, even the air circulation. You humans are not used to such things, I suppose. Jack shook his head. Not really. On Earth, most homes are fixed. You don't get furniture that folds itself or walls that move, you just make do. That explains a lot, Lyra said, pouring a cup of the glowing drink from yesterday. She handed it to him. Try this. It will help wake you up. Jack took a sip, savoring the taste of honey and mint. Delicious. I don't even know what to call it, but it's perfect. They spent the morning exploring more of the house. Jack had started to understand how to navigate the rooms without bumping into walls or knocking over delicate devices. Lyra guided him patiently, showing how to press hidden buttons to reveal extra space, how to slide furniture smoothly, and even how to step lightly on sections of the floor that could sink slightly under heavy weight. Jack was clumsy at first, tripping over a sliding panel and nearly falling into a small storage compartment. Lyra laughed softly but didn't scold him. You'll get used to it, she said. Humans are stronger than most think. You just need to learn the rhythm of this place. By noon, they were in the kitchen. Jack watched as Lyra prepared a strange meal. Tiny glowing fruits floated in the air as she manipulated them with her hands, slicing and arranging them with precision. Jack tried to help, but his large fingers kept knocking the fruits away. "Careful," Lyra said with a grin. "Everything here is delicate." "I'm trying," Jack said sheepishly, catching a fruit before it rolled under the counter. "I guess humans aren't exactly known for being delicate." "True," Lyra replied, handing him a small tool to handle the fruits. "But humans have strength, cleverness, and persistence. That is valuable too." Together they prepared the meal, and Jack was surprised at how well he adapted. Using tools instead of his hands for delicate tasks allowed him to participate without causing chaos. When the meal was ready, they ate together, talking about their respective worlds. Jack learned that Lyra had grown up in a city floating above the ground, surrounded by technology that adapted to its residents. She had chosen to live in this small house to escape the crowded city and live a life where she could control everything around her. Her inventions reflected her personality, clever, adaptive, and always thinking ahead. Jack shared stories about Earth, his experiences traveling, and the ways humans solved problems using ingenuity and teamwork. Lyra listened intently, fascinated by the human ability to adapt to nearly any situation, even when it seemed impossible. In the afternoon, they began a small project together. Lyra had designed a compact workstation, but it required someone strong enough to lift certain panels and clever enough to figure out the mechanism. Jack fit both requirements. "Careful," Lyra said. "This panel weighs more than it looks, and it must fit precisely." Jack gripped the edges and lifted with all his strength. The panel clicked into place perfectly, and Lyra clapped her hands in delight. "Excellent, you see? Humans can do things no one else can." Jack smiled proudly. "I guess I'm learning how to be useful around here." The day continued with a mix of work and laughter. Jack discovered hidden compartments that revealed small, intricate machines, each designed to save space or make life easier. Lyra demonstrated how to fold one piece of furniture into a chair, a table, or even a small storage unit. Jack marveled at the cleverness, but he also noticed how his human strength could complement her intelligence. He could lift, push, or hold parts that she could only manipulate delicately. By evening, they were both tired but satisfied. Jack had learned how to navigate the house smoothly, how to use tools to handle delicate items, and even how to help Lyra with her inventions. Lyra, in turn, had learned how humans could bring practical solutions to her carefully planned systems. As they sat together, enjoying a small meal of floating fruits and glowing liquids, Lyra looked at Jack thoughtfully. "You've adapted quickly," she said. "Most guests would have broken something by now, but you've found a rhythm." "That is impressive," Jack chuckled. "It helps to have a teacher like you." "You are more than a student," Lyra replied softly. "Humans have a way of finding solutions when others cannot. Your size and strength may seem awkward here, but they are an asset in ways I didn't expect." Jack felt a warm glow from her words. It wasn't just about surviving in her home, it was about being valued for who he was. And for the first time on this planet, he didn't feel out of place. The night brought a new challenge. Jack had to navigate the small bedroom, which involved ducking under curved ceilings and sliding sideways through narrow passages. Lyra guided him patiently, showing him the safest path and how to use the flexible furniture to his advantage. "See," she said with a smile. "Even this tight space can be manageable." Jack laughed, squeezing into the small bed. "I think I'm starting to get it. It's like learning a new dance, awkward at first, but eventually you move with it instead of against it." "Exactly," Lyra agreed. "And that is the key to thriving here. Adaptation, cleverness, and a little patience." Over the next few days, Jack and Lyra settled into a routine. Mornings were for exploring new features of the house and testing clever inventions. Afternoons were spent preparing meals, organizing the compact spaces, or solving small puzzles that Lyra had created to challenge both her mind and his. Evenings were for storytelling, sharing laughter, and enjoying the calm glow of the house. Jack discovered that even small tasks could become adventures. Cooking alien food required precise movements to prevent the dishes from floating away. Navigating the narrow corridors demanded attention to balance and timing. Even watering the small indoor garden involved intricate steps to avoid spilling glowing water over the floor. But through it all, Jack found joy in overcoming each challenge, and he found joy in sharing it with Lyra. One afternoon, a minor mishap occurred. A small hovering plant, curious about Jack's bulk, bumped into a delicate instrument on a shelf. The instrument wobbled precariously, and for a moment it seemed it would fall. Jack reacted instantly, catching it with both hands. Lyra watched in surprise and delight. That was perfect. You saved it without even thinking. Jack grinned, handing the instrument back. Humans are good at solving problems fast. Sometimes our size is a help, not a hindrance. Indeed, Lyra said, her eyes sparkling. You've shown me that strength and cleverness together can do wonders. As the days passed, Jack felt himself changing. He was learning to move gracefully in tight spaces, to handle delicate tasks carefully, and to appreciate the ingenuity of alien design. But he was also teaching Lyra lessons of his own, the importance of persistence, the value of practical strength, and the joy of adapting creatively to unexpected challenges. By the end of the week, they had created a comfortable routine. Jack had found his place in the tiny home, and Lyra had come to rely on his unique abilities. Their friendship deepened with every shared meal, every solved puzzle, and every moment of laughter over Jack's clumsy but determined attempts to navigate the space. One evening, as they sat together watching the softly glowing landscape outside, Jack realized something profound. He had come to this alien world tired, alone, and in need of help. Now he had a home, a friend, and a sense of purpose. The challenges of space and size had become opportunities for growth, connection, and discovery. Lyra turned to him, smiling warmly. You've made this place livelier, Jack, and I've learned from you as well. Humans are remarkable in ways I didn't expect. Jack felt a rush of gratitude. And aliens can be incredible teachers. I've learned more here than I ever imagined. They sat in comfortable silence, each appreciating the other's presence. Outside, the alien world shimmered in calm colors, a reminder of how strange and wonderful this planet was. Inside, the home buzzed softly with light and gentle movements, a perfect blend of alien ingenuity and human adaptability. As Jack prepared to rest that night, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't known before. The tight spaces no longer seemed restrictive. They were a challenge he could meet. The strange devices and delicate instruments were not intimidating. They were puzzles he could solve. And Lyra, with her brilliance and patience, had become more than a guide. She was a partner in this small, lively world they shared. For the first time on this planet, Jack felt truly at home. And he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, humans had a way of thriving, even in the smallest, most unusual places, when they had the right friend by their side.